It is all about lemons today in the sartorial kitchen. I'm kicking things off with a lemon butter pasta and parmesan crusted chicken tenders, then a classic limoncello with a basil twist, and last but not least for dessert, bruleed lemon moussette. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with me?
Welcome back, everybody. Yes, we're at the grocery store today because it's all about lemons. Lots of lemons, 2 base lemons here. We're doing an entree, doing a dessert, doing cocktails. I mean, lots of lemons, but for dessert, I need some thick lemons, THICC, some nice big lemons. And we're zesting these, so I want to check the outside, make sure they look good. I never discussed this before, but with lemons, when you buy them from the store like this, if you're using zest, make sure you rinse them. There's a wax coating on here to keep the lemons fresh. I never showed you guys that before. We don't want that in our dish. So we're going to clean these. When these guys look good, I'm going to bag them up. We'll see you guys back there.
Yes, lemons, lemons, lemons today. Spring has sprung, and it's giving me a zest for life and a zest for lemons. And we're starting off with a dessert. This is a lemon moussette, but I'm going to jazz it up a little bit and do a brulee moussette. So I'm prepping some lemons now, just 2 large lemons. I'm just cutting out around the pith here into that inner lemon. And then we take our spoon and just kind of dig up underneath and pry this lemon right out, the whole thing. I'm saving the rind because it's going to be a little boat to serve our dessert in. Of course, we want to make sure we get all the seeds out, or we will damage our food processor. I'm just going to pop the lid on this thing and give it a nice little pulse just until that lemon is broken up. Okay, let's give this a look here. Beautiful, yeah. So we just want to break this down enough that it kind of purees, but I don't want to take all of that pulp out because that's going to give us just a little bit of texture on our moussette. Now any big pieces like this that would not break down, we can kind of remove, but I'm going to go ahead and drop this into our mixing bowl. Lovely. So in this mixing bowl, I've already zested both of those lemons just to get lots of flavor there. I'll make sure we pour all of that out. And just kind of, again, look for any large pieces that the food processor missed. And I think we're good to go. So I'm going to set this aside. We're going to move on to our evaporated milk. So 1 can of evaporated milk. I'm just going to pour that right in. And we're going to give it a pulse. Just on high. We're going to beat that down. It's going to get nice and foamy. It's going to start to thicken up a little bit, almost like a whipped cream. And while that goes, we're going to dump out our sweetened condensed milk. That's what's going to make this dessert nice and sweet. I'm not adding any sugar, we're just using condensed milk. Going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. looks beautiful. See how it's thickened up and it's like doubled in size. So I'm going to carefully remove our blade and dump that mixture right in. And then we're going to take our spatula here and carefully fold this in. So I don't want to lose all that air that I pumped into this. I just want to make sure that it's incorporated with the lemon and the sweetened condensed milk, so everything has about the same bite to it. All right, this looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take a ladle here and ladle our mixture right inside. Make sure we fill it up to the top. Beautiful. These are going to go in my deep freeze for a few hours, or you can set it in the fridge overnight, and we will move on to our next dish. All right, we are back. I have set up a dredge station here. We're doing some chicken and pasta. It's going to be a lemon butter sauce. So lots and lots of lemon. I've got some seasoned flour there. I've got my egg wash there, just a few eggs and a couple tablespoons of water. Into my seasoned Italian breadcrumbs, I'm zesting a little bit of this lemon, about a half teaspoon, because I really want the lemon to shine here. Drop that in. Also to the seasoned Italian breadcrumbs, I'm going to do about a 1/4 cup of parmesan, and just stir this together so the cheese and the lemon zest is incorporated into it. And I think we are ready to fry. All right, so just one at a time here. And come in with my tongs. First, I press this chicken down into the flour. And this chicken I've prepped. I took the little vein out that makes the tenders tough. And I just want to completely coat it in the dredge to make sure everything sticks. And then it's going to go into my egg wash here. And then into our seasoned breadcrumbs. Make sure we get a nice coating of the breadcrumbs on here. And then that goes down into our oil. And I've got that oil on a medium heat. So I want to make sure the chicken has time to get nice and crisp as it cooks through. Otherwise it gets too done and then the inside's raw, which is no good. Alright guys, I think our first pieces are ready to come out here. I've got a little towel here just to drain some of the grease. And flip these babies over. And get the last guys in the skillet. Perfect. We have just enough breadcrumbs for everything. I'm going to flip this baby over. Okay, well the last of our chicken cooks. I'm going to go ahead and get the spaghetti started. Just dump in the whole box. Do not break the pasta. This will start to soften and it will fall into the pan. There's no need to break the pasta. Now spaghetti normally takes about 10 to 12 minutes. We're going to cook this about 7 or 8 because we're going to finish it in our sauce. And we always make sure we salt our pasta water. And I'm also going to throw in a little oil just to keep everything from sticking together. And just give that a little stir. Now let's pull the rest of our chicken out here. Nice and golden brown. And go ahead and turn our heat off for a second here. Another little round of salt for the rest of these guys. And take our oil here. And we're going to pour it out. So I always do this in the sink. I make a little well with the spigot. And the oil goes right in there, and you can leave it until it cools or solidifies. I just want the oil though. I do not want all this lovely brown bit goodness. So that's going to be the beginning of our sauce. So for the sauce, just a few ingredients. This is like one of the easiest pasta sauces ever. A whole stick of butter. I know it sounds like a lot, but and then I also want the rest of the zest from my lemons here. This is 2 lemons. We want as much zest off of here as we can get. That's going to make this really nice and fragrant. And it's going to cut through the richness of the butter. Alright, so that is 1 lemon. Always check the back stragglers. And our other lemon. And the rest of our lemon. Lovely. Grab the knife. And slice these in half. And we get our little fancy juicer out here. And give that a really big squeeze. So 2 whole juices of lemon, nice big lemons. It's going to be about a 1/4 cup of juice. Go ahead and turn that down to low. And that butter, it's just started to brown a little bit. It smells amazing. Love it. And then kind of swirl that around. We're going to throw in some salt here. About a teaspoon of salt. And some fresh cracked black pepper. And for a little extra heat, just a pinch of crushed red pepper, and I'm going to rub that through my fingers to really wake up the oils of those pepper seeds. I'll just stir that around. Once the sauces kind of come together, you can go ahead and turn the heat off and just kind of let it mellow out. And we check our pasta here. It's getting pretty close. Okay, that sauce looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and turn our water off on the pasta. And then we're just gonna take our tongs here. We'll turn our sauce off as well. And we're just gonna take the tongs. We're gonna grab the pasta and dump it right into the sauce. And don't be afraid to drag some of that pasta water along with you. That's just going to help thicken our sauce. All right, beautiful. And then I'm just gonna come in here with my tongs and give this a little stir so that butter sauce gets all over the pasta. Just kind of turn everything up over itself. And as you can see, that sauce is still kind of going. Our stove's hot, even though I turned it off. So that pasta is going to continue to cook just slightly here in our butter sauce. And the starch from that pasta water thickens our sauce, and it just gets nice and creamy and clings to our pasta beautifully. Oh, that looks so good, guys. I would say we are ready to plate up. I'm just gonna come in here, we're gonna get fancy and twirl that pasta on the tongs and then set it in our pan, or bowl I mean, and I'm gonna get just another little serving here. This is why we don't break the spaghetti, so we can twirl it beautifully. Just like a little of our lemon zest, I'm just gonna tinge a little of that on top. Some more of our fresh cracked black pepper. A little of our parmesan. And a couple of our chicken tenders. And does that not look good or what? Right. Let's grab some of this pasta first. Mmm. Mmm. So good. It's rich and it's buttery. You need to get that brightness of the lemon. A little heat from the pepper and the pepper flakes. It's nice and creamy. Tinge of salt from the parmesan. Chicken is nice and cooked through and juicy. Nice and crispy. Lots of flavor there. Again, from the lemon, the parmesan. So good. Alright, so next I have a fun cocktail to show you guys. And then we'll finish our dessert. But I'm gonna finish up here. Alright, cocktail time. I promised you guys a cocktail, and I did not forget. So we're making limonchello. And if you've never had limoncello before, it's an Italian liqueur that is, you guessed it, lemon flavored. Yes, yes, yes. So I've got some lemons here. Where's the rind? Where's the zest? Right here. So that is my little mixture there of vodka and lemon rinds. I'll show you exactly how I put that together.
First, I rinsed and scrubbed about 8 lemons and peeled the lemons into a large mason jar. Then I added about half a bottle of vodka, but you can use any kind of clear, pure grain liquor that you like. Then put on the lid, give it a good shake, and store at room temperature for about 3 to 4 weeks.
All right, guys. So that is my lemon mixture. I made that about 4 weeks ago because I wanted to make sure that it had time to set. The longer you let this set, the better. And as you can see, the vodka's really broken down that zest and just given us some loveliness here. The longer you leave it set, the darker color this is gonna get. So I've just thrown in a cup of lemon juice. I juiced all those lemons that I used. We are making a simple syrup. What is a simple syrup? It is a little drink sweetener of sorts. And it is equal parts sugar and water, or you can use any kind of juice to flavor it. So I've got my lemon juice, I've got 2 cups of water. To that, we're gonna add our sugar. And literally you just cook this until the sugar has dissolved. You don't want this to boil. You don't want this to steep. You don't want it to simmer. You just want that sugar to dissolve. Alrighty, Roo. I'll come in here with my little spoon here, and we just give that a stir. Literally just until that sugar has dissolved. I've even got this just on a low heat. And we're gonna flavor this further. I've got some basil here. So once that sugar starts to break down, I'm gonna drop in that basil and just let that steep. And our simple syrup here is just gonna add a nice little complexity of flavor, give it a fun little note. And lemon and basil go beautiful together. But you can use any kind of herb you like. You wanna go in a more southwest direction, you could add some cilantro. You could put some rosemary in here, just whatever you like. Okay, that sugar has dissolved nicely. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off on that. I've got a little strainer here. And we're going to do this carefully to not make a mess. So the strainer is to catch the basil and any lemon seeds that may have found their way in here. I'm just going to slowly pour this out. Beautiful. We've got a little left. That's perfectly fine. Now we're going to put our lid back on. And give this a little shakeroo. Okay, I think that is pretty good. You could also pour this in a pitcher of ice and give it a little stir. But I'm just going to ladle some of this out into my cup here. Just a little cup of ice. Since this did just come off the stove, or simple syrup. And then if you had some more basil, you could kind of garnish with a sprig of it. But I'm just going to go ahead and drink this as is. Bottoms up. Oh yeah. So you can tell the vodka's there, but you really just get that rich, lemony flavor. It's acidic, but it's also sweet. And then you get the floral notes of the zest, and then that basil. So good. Well, as much as I would love to throw this down the hatch, we have a dessert. Guys, we are back, and last but not least, it is our mousse. And look how beautifully that's set up, nice and firm. Should be able to turn it upside down and it stays in place. So that was just a couple hours in my freezer, or you can chill them in the fridge overnight. Now we're going to brulee these. I said it would be a brulee moussette. So brulee is just torched sugar, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little sugar on top here, just enough to gently coat the top of our mousse without being too much. Just a nice thin layer, and we can kind of take our finger here and even this out. And we are good to go. Time for the fun part, the fire. Is that not exciting, guys? So the trick to brulee is to caramelize the sugar, but not to go so hard that it starts to burn. And another reason I froze these, so the mousse wouldn't melt from having the heat on it. So we're just going to come over top here, and I'm just going to very gently, and you can see where that sugar starts to bubble and caramelize. And I'm at a safe distance from it because I don't want the flavor of that flame on our sugar. And that looks pretty good. We'll move on to the next one here. And you just go nice and slow, back and forth, just till that sugar evenly caramelizes. Alright, I would say we are all set. Alright, let's dig in. Now before we get ahead of ourselves, if you don't have that little torch thing, you can skip this last step. If you try and do this in the toaster oven over the broiler to cook the sugar on top, you're going to risk melting the mousse and the whole dessert's going to fall apart. But just listen to that. You crack the sugar on top, you get these little shards of sugar, and just dig into that creamy mousse. Oh man. It's sweet, but you get the richness of that lemon. The crunch from that bruleed sugar is like everything. So this is almost like a soft serve or like a sherbet. It's so good. And it's just the perfect little bite. That's why I served it in the lemon here. Delicious. So, I'm going to clean up here. But I thank you guys for joining me as always. Like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comment section. And until next time, bon appetit.